All right. Uh, we are about starting out right now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful edition of the Fourth Circle. And by God's grace, we hope that we'll have a very, very wonderful session today. So, if you are just joining us, we welcome you. And you can also drop a comment on the comment section. You can drop an emoji in the comment section if you are joining us right now. If you are live, please drop a comment on our YouTube page. If you are seeing us on YouTube, you can drop a comment there so we know that we are together. Okay, I can see six people already watching already. So welcome, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today. And it's very wonderful to be here, and it's a privilege to have awesome speakers join us in this session. It's going to be a very wonderful time. I bet you will need to regret the moment you are going to be spending here because we have um, a very, very important conversation to have right now this evening. And we've been publicizing before now, and the topic is you japa, before you japa, and it's all about navigating and understanding the complexities of migration. So a lot have happened. People have traveled, and they will wish like they knew one or two things before they left. And these are people who have been able to walk through this journey, and who is a privilege to have them here share with us their experiences and how you who is aspiring to also do that part can also navigate it when the time comes. So it's a privilege to have in the house. I will be introducing our speakers for the day. Okay. I'm introducing our speakers for the day. By God's grace, it's a privilege to have our four speakers all ready and active um, to give us one of the best conversations we'll be having tonight. By God's grace, I will start with my own boss in photography and my mentor, Mr. Ikechukwu Promise, a professional photographer based in United Kingdom. Please, if you can hear me, um, okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for
Well,
joining us. Thank you. Then I also have with me one of our very own, all the way from Canada, Engineer Stephen Elike. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Please, can you hear me? If you can hear me, you can give me a signal. Okay, thank you very much, sir. And then we also have Mr. Ekene Ebite, one of our very own too, all the way from Canada. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Sir, please give me a signal if you can hear me. Thank
Yes,
you
I
very
can
much.
hear you very well. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much, sir. Then finally, we'll have one of our very own too, our one of our fathers in the house, and he's also a nurse by profession, based in United Kingdom, Mr. Raymond Osayade. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir. So we are kicking off right away. So please, before we start up, on the comment section, I want to see our comments. If you are ready for this session, can you drop your comments on the comment section, please? If you can hear me loud and clear and you're ready as we start up this conversation, let me see your comments. Let me have your comments on our YouTube chats. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so we are starting up with introduction right away. Thousands of people travel out of Nigeria every day, and but only few actually understands how to navigate the migration, the whole migration challenges and all that. So I'll be starting with Mr. Promise, a brief intro here. So um, can you please, in a moment, tell us where your migration journey started? What was the moment you knew that you had to leave the country? Please, in a few minutes, can you share with us how your migration journey began? What prompted you to leave and migrate to the United Kingdom? Thank you, sir.
thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so delighted to be here and glad to see most of my senior brothers on call as well. And for those of you who know me, my name is Promise Ikechukwu. I'm one of your own. Um, Grew up from New Era Baptist Church. That's my root, and so grateful to be here to speak to some of us. Basically, for people who know me very well, I've always wanted to travel. My desire to travel started in 2008, actually, when I was very much younger. Seeing some of my uncles, family friends come back home, and they're looking so good. And I always wanted to ask them, what was it like there? I want to be there. I want to go there. For those of if some of my friends are on this call, they will know. Then I used to dress like people that come from abroad. They used to call me a Caterian because of how I eagerly want to travel abroad. Um, I started, making inquiries. I had no direction. I just wanted to go abroad. No direction. Nobody to tell you what it looks like. My first my first scam happened in 2010 when I paid someone to travel to China. I didn't know what I was going to do in China, but I just want to travel. I want to leave Nigeria at all cost. They said, "Oh, bring this money." I paid. I didn't see visa. I didn't see anything. I didn't even have a passport that time. So I didn't even know what I was doing. But the agent was like, "I'll do it for you. I'll do everything for you. Don't worry. Just give me money, and you travel." And it has been like that. I tried to travel to Turkey. It didn't work. I tried to travel to Canada. It didn't work. I did so many interviews, so many. And what prompted me when I started reshaping my mind to, okay, why do I even want to travel? What country am I supposed to go to? So these were when I began to set out the countries I would love to go to. My first choice then was Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Then I started making inquiries. What was the best route to go? How am I going to go to this country? People were making it look like it was very big, a very difficult thing to do. You meet the wrong agents. They tell you bring money. They don't even explain what it is, how to go about it. And I began to look at my life and like, I don't want to remain in Nigeria because I want to have a better life for myself, my family, people who are very close to me. I used to tell them, I said, even if I don't have the opportunity to travel, I'm not going to give birth in Nigeria because even then, Nigeria was already getting terrible. It was getting bad. Things was not working fine. You have to struggle so hard. And I'm like, I want to give a better life, at least to my children, and let's experience a better life. So that was where the desire started from. I just wanted to live initially without any purpose, but later redefined the fact that, what, for the sake of your children, give them a better life, give them a better experience, let them have the opportunity to explore the world. When you have a Nigerian passport, it's very difficult for you to explore the world. It will take you a lot of struggle. So some of these things was what I was put into perspective, and that influenced my decision to, what, it's time. I need to leave. I need to make, possible solutions on how to leave this country. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So over to you, Miss Engineer Stephen. Please, in a few minutes, give us a brief intro on what prompted your your urge to migrate to Canada. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you everyone for inviting me. As you all know, my name is Stephen Elike, and it's good to see your faces again. Glad to see Raymond, Ikechukwu, and Ekene. Glad to see you as well. Maybe after this, we'll have to connect.
All
Yeah.
right, no problem,
Yeah.
sir.
Anyways, for me, I think it was one incident that prompted my desire to leave Nigeria. As most of you know, I was working in Nigeria. I was in the tech, fiber optics, and I think one day while we were working on a fiber cut in Owerri, there was a big incident that happened there. I think at about 2 p.m. in the night, we got a call from MTN to come fix up their fiber that it was cut. And normally, we've never had that challenge before. Normally, when there is construction, we get the fiber cut and all those kind of stuff. But on this particular occasion, we don't exactly know what happened, but there was a fiber cut at about 2 p.m. in the night. And, we had we had a contract with MTN, and mean time to restore was 3 hours. And normally, when you have your MTN down, your network down, there are people behind the scene trying to restore that network, and that was what we do. So while trying to get this done, we got the cops, the police, the MTN police. We saw them, and while we were chatting with them, we heard all the backstories there, and they were all talking about the security there. This was in 2012, 2011, 2012. And there was this backstory about, oh, that place is dangerous, that is this, is that, and all of that. And they were fully kitted. We saw how they were positioned. And then when we got to the location, one of the policemen, sorry, sometimes I might be using cop, I might be using police, but I want to try to stay with police. One of the policemen pointed, he said, you see that place? There are people pointing at us right now with guns. I was like, how did you know? He said, we can see them. And then myself, and then there's this guy I was working with, Binga, and he was like, we're just here, we're at the middle. We're at the middle trying to restore the damaged fiber. The cops, they stood at that side, they all took position, and we don't know what was pointing to us at the other side. And myself and my colleague were all just putting on our cover and trying to get to restore the fiber cut. And that was when I told myself, Steve, this is not for you. And that was way back in 2011, 2012. It was not as bad as what we have now. So that was one of the major things that prompted my decision. But prior to this, there were a couple of incidents that had happened. First and foremost, I got like a promotion. I got a team of my own. And then I noticed a couple of deficiencies that I had. One was people management. One was I think it was majorly people management, right? So I was already thinking along that line about how to manage people, and the thing that came to mind was, okay, you have to go in for maybe a program that can help you manage people properly. I was still thinking about this while also having this whole issue along the way. Then a friend just called me and said, Steve, why don't you want to come over to Canada and do your master's? And that was where it clicked. Okay, then maybe, Steve, this is what you need. Go do your master's. That was why I did a master's in engineering management when I came over to Canada. Those are the three things that prompted me. Number one, I had the influence from a friend, a good friend, that gave me the right tool to navigate my way to Canada. Then the second thing was my experience while working in Nigeria. And then the third thing was the drive to improve on myself. I think those are the three things that made me migrate. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So over to Mr. Ikele, so quickly give us a brief story of how you had the conviction to migrate abroad.
All right, thank you very much, and good evening and good afternoon, everyone. I think every face I see here is not familiar at all. The only familiar face I see is the host, so I presume I'm a very new person here. Anyways, my family are members of New Era Baptist Church, and I would say by default, I'm also a member. So I happen to join from Canada. And 2 years ago, when I came to Nigeria, of course, I fellowshiped with the church. So I would say I am a member of New Era Baptist Church. And to the host, thank you so much for having me. Okay, the reason I migrated to Canada, it's not a very popular reason. There are many reasons why people travel, just like my brothers here have stated. Some travel because of the, insecurity of the nation. Maybe you want to give yourself a better life. You want to be able to cater for your family, fend for your children, and maybe give them a better life. Mine was not, all of that. I remember after I left secondary school, I mean, for no just cause, for no reason. Nobody spoke to me about Canada, but I just walked up to my parents and I told them that I wanted to travel. Travel to where? I told them Canada, as if maybe I read it up or maybe somebody had spoken to me or maybe I had a revelation. Nothing like that, just out of the blues. But then my parents couldn't afford it. They didn't have the money and, nobody had the money. So I had to tell them, you know what? Let me just go through my university education. Maybe after my university, we can fall back to this plan. And I think it was during my service year that I, kick-started with the plan to travel. I had someone in my church who wanted to help me apply to come to the US because he had his family in the US. And also my uncle, who was also an agent, like a travel agent. He has a slot. He had a slot to bring someone to Europe. And then he asked me if I wanted to come to the Europe. But I bluntly refused. As if, I mean, when I shared um, when I told it to some of my friends, they were like, and then I was in 300 level, in the university when the opportunity came. When I told them that my uncle wanted to bring me to the Europe and I bluntly refused, they were like, you don't even know what you are doing. Even if I'm in final years and such an opportunity come, I'm going to quickly grab it. But for me, I was not really convinced about any other country other than Canada. So fast forward to when I finished my service, or rather during my service, that was when I started, the application. I mean, there was no strong reason why I wanted to travel, but there was this nudge I had in my spirit that I wanted to travel. I rejected Europe. I rejected the USA. I told them that if it is not Canada, I'm going nowhere. As if there's somebody in Canada waiting for me, or maybe somebody had told me about Canada. So where the idea of Canada came about is so unpopular. That's why I said my reason is not even as though one is running away from insecurity or maybe you want money, nothing of such. I didn't have any of those, ideas. Or maybe I want to travel so I can help my family. Nothing like that. From, nowhere, out of the blues, I just had the urge, or rather the nudge, rather, to travel out of the country. So that was where the whole thing started from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So, finally, to uh, Mr. Raymond Osayade, can we hear you, sir? Thank you, sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. At least I can see my brother and friend, Elike. It's been a long time. And to every other person watching online, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity. Well, it's more like a summary, so I'll just summarize what the first two persons said. But before I say that, everyone in my family will bear me witness that I was the last person that want to leave Nigeria. I was the very last person. I made a vow. I think that was during my university that I will never leave Nigeria. All my classmates know about it. They all know about it. So even in my presence, all of them left. We graduated about 28 nurses. As at the time I was leaving, we only 3 left. So I made a vow that I'm not leaving. I had plans how to graduate, get a job, build my career, raise my family. Everything was planned. And it was so bad that I have aunties and uncles in US. One of them specifically sent me money to do my passport and prepare. You know what I did? I converted that money into business. I actually did the passport, but I converted the money into business because I wasn't ready to travel. It was very obvious. But at a point, it dawned on me that to be blunt. I know we are online, but to be blunt, just like the first person said, I promise. I just told myself there was no future for me or my family right in that space. So it was becoming obvious that the more effort you put in, the more you get frustrated. The more effort you put in, because I graduated as a nurse, but unfortunately, the system was so frustrating. I became a furniture maker. Promise is my witness. Yes. In fact, to be honest with you, the money I earned as a nurse in Nigeria was just for transport. Every other thing I was using to feed my family, even to come over to UK because no one gave me 1 naira, was from my furniture business. So Nigeria frustrated me to the point that I left nursing, but I was still practicing in the private sector. But my major job was furniture. I was making furnitures. I can't count how many applications I sent to parastatals, HMBs, the Ministry of Health. I was traveling everywhere, attending interviews. You go to interviews, you will do very well. But people that didn't go to interview will get the job and you will see them, and then you will not get anything. So at the point I said I'm not applying anymore. So I was doing my furniture. So at a point, I now had decided to take the furniture to an international space, like get international experience. So I found out a school in UK here that's one of the best. In fact, it's at the top. Where you do Google search, it's at the top of school for furnitures. It's called Chippendale's International School of Furnitures. So now everything they needed for me to come as international student was running into millions. As this was like in 2021, it was about almost 30 something million for me to come as a student. So I now ask my question. The truth of the matter, I can't raise this money, but how best can I get there to go to this school? So that was when it clicked that at least I know most of my colleagues that are in UK through the nursing route. So I said, okay, I think the best I can do, I can improve my profession as a nurse. I can sharpen my skills in the international space, and it will also give me opportunity at the right time to get experience in the furniture area of it, of my career. I don't know whether to say career. So that was when I started preparing. But I was sluggish. But to be truthful with you, after this is my own opinion, because I know we are online, so we are very careful in the things we say. But for me, I always say this is my opinion. So in my opinion, after the sham of election, what they call election 2023, I told my family, it's either we live here or we live here. So that was when I intensified I channeled every energy and everything. And then by January 2024, I left. Most of my friends didn't believe that Raymond left. They were calling me, is it true you left? I said, I am no longer in Nigeria as I'm talking to you. They never believed because it was a vow I made and everybody knew that I didn't. But the system forced me out. And so I had to leave. So that was how the journey began. And I found myself here. So that is it. Thank you.
You're still on mute. We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. So we are going straight to the second question. Very important. This one is very important. So I'm supposed to ask a particular question, but because of time, maybe we'll merge it with these other ones. This one particular I want to ask. Now, you had a perspective of how diaspora looks like how abroad looked like before you left. And then now, when you got there, I think I will start with Engineer Steven this time around. When you got there, what was your first reality check? Like in your first to 6 months, 1 year, what was your first reality check? What happened? Things you were not prepared for. Like, what was your first reality check based on the perspective you had before leaving?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. So unfortunately, I didn't really have like a perspective when I was leaving. But I already figured out before I left that I needed some form of education to be able to integrate into Canada. So, when I came in, I took the course in engineering management, and while taking that course, there were a lot of other programs that we had to take that also helped migrants also adapt. So for me, there was nothing really special. I know this will be different from a lot of other people. For me, there was nothing really special. But one thing, I don't know if I will call it a blessing, but I think one thing that has really helped me out was I have a circle that anywhere I go to, I somehow link up. Not me. God has helped me to be in a circle of people that have a lot of information. I think that has really helped me in my journey of life, not just coming to Canada. While in the university in Port Harcourt, you don't have they don't really have to be the brightest, but the kind of information that they have, it's and for me, somebody like me, I work a lot with information. So I will be talking to you. I will be talking to you. While talking to you, I'm piecing in one or two, trying to get some one or two information that can help better my life. At least, promise once in a while I call you, uh, get one or two information. Even for those that I know, if you're a nurse, I can call you, and then because my wife is also a nurse, we're just talking about that. I'm trying to get an information, just get one or two information from you. That has actually been what has helped me. So when I came into Canada, I found myself in a group of people in the school. I made friends with two or three people that had good proper information on how to integrate into Canada. So my stay in Canada was more of working with information. Integrating into Canada was more of getting the right information and working with the information that I have. But I think the only thing I would say is acting on those information, right? So it's like a little bit of a regret because some of those information I acted on them very late, but then things had already spiked. But in general, for me, I would say it's more of meeting people, working with the information that they have, and then I do a lot of research. So when I get an information, I basically go everything the way things are now. There is a lot of information online, lots of information online that are genuine, and there are lots of misinformation online too as well. So for me, I do a lot of research and I try to understand the people, try to understand the place, try to mix up with. For me, I live in a town called Empire, and I met the mayor, like the local government chairman. I met the local government chairman. I was with him in the office. We spoke a lot. He gave me a lot of information. With that, I'm able to navigate the environment that I am in, the opportunities that are there, what to take, where to contribute, how to set up a business, whatever I want to do. So that is just for me. I try to meet people that have the right information at that point in time, and that has been what has really helped me. So I think that is what I will say for now.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Promise, can you give us a brief, maybe a brief narrative if you had a reality check when you first landed in the United Kingdom?
Before I came in, I felt everything was very, very, very rosy abroad. When you see the good pictures, you see, them on snow, you think everything is, free of charge. My first reality check was there's nobody that's going to give you free money. You have to put in the work. That was my first reality check. You have to work twice as hard and smart to be able to make that money that you're looking for, to meet the right people. Because in Africa, in Nigeria, where we come from, everything is connection. You need to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody to put you in a place. But yeah, you have to earn it. You have to prove that I have the ability, I have the skill to get this thing done. You don't need anybody to come and speak for you. That's number one. Number two, the lifestyle here. There are so many things, so many bad habits we learned from Nigeria before we came. When we came here, some things that we overlook are very, very important over here. So uh, these are the basic things. Because number one is, like I said, nobody's going to give you free money. Sometimes before you come, you think once you're here, you're promising your family back in Nigeria, even ahead, that don't worry, 1 year, 1 month, I will buy you car, I will build you house. It doesn't work like that. There's no free money. There's no connection to put you in the right place. You have to work smart and work hard. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Raymond, quickly, did you have a reality check when you entered the United Kingdom? The mic is muted.
Yes, sorry about that. In addition to what Promise Check said with respect to free money, connection, working hard. One of the reality check that happened to me was with respect to raising kids. Like, I got down here with 3 of my growing children. So not like I gave birth to them here. And it dawned on me that the way they treat children here is far, far different from the way we treat kids down there. Like, because for the first few weeks, I had to lock everywhere to discipline my kids. Like, because children should not be heard crying. You shouldn't shout at your kids. You shouldn't even touch them. Even if you are along the road, your child is misbehaving, you can't do anything. Like, it dawned on me, I told my wife, I said, now here we go for raise these children. We will not go flog them. Like, it was actually a shocker for me the first time I came. So, but with time, we began to adjust. And one other thing, another reality check is over here, nobody cares about who you are, what you wear, what you eat. Nobody cares about anything. So long as you don't break the laws, you don't do things they say don't do, just be who you are. If you like, walk with your head, dress as a woman, do whatever you like, walk with your tummy. Nobody cares. But make sure you are within the confinement of the law, and then you'll be fine. So those are the reality checks that I got, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Finally, Mr. Ekene Ibite.
All right, thank you very much. I was just laughing when Mr. Promise said something that in abroad nobody gives you free money at all. When I was coming to Canada, I assured my family that every year I would be visiting. In fact, that after the first year, they would see me in Nigeria. I did not come back home until after 6 years. If you had plans before traveling abroad, we kind of adjust your plans. That's just it. So that was my. Sorry, I'm laughing. That was my first, reality check. And then, secondly, when I came to Canada, I was single. So in my head, I was like, okay, if I find any, God-fearing white person, since I'm single, I might, get married to them and all of that. But after I saw how their lifestyle here is, just like Raymond said, it's totally different from how we are traditionally raised, from Nigeria, from Africa, from back home. So when I saw what I saw, I was like, wow, I think I have to go back home and, do the needful. So that was when I came back home in the year 2024 to get married to my long-time friend, my wife. So yeah, that's it pretty much. Thank you.
Very much, sir. So thank you very much. So I think if we've not gotten anything, I think what I learned here is that nobody gives you free money. Number one, you have to get information, you have to act on it, and nobody actually cares. You have to work hard for it. So these are some of the few things I actually learned from this segment, and I believe on the comment section we are also, like the viewers on the viewer session, we are also following and learning. So quickly now, let's move to the next question. So I will start with Mr. Raymond here. So I'm going to ask, I don't know, maybe any of us might have, were there moments where you had self-doubt? Oh, I believe you've answered some of them, but let's just keep it in. Were there moments when you had self-doubt, when things were not working, when you felt like, oh, should I have left? Did I make a good decision? Am I sure I'm actually on this? Do I actually get this or not? So let me start from you, sir. Please meet your cost, sir, please.
Sorry, I always forget.
Okay,
To answer your question very well, for me, once I make a decision, even if it's turning out bad, I will be in it. Because my dad always tell me that a man is as responsible as his words. So I take it like that. So before I made the decision to leave, even when I came here, it was actually, there were so many shockers, but it never one day crossed my mind that, why did it never. It was hard, very hard, I must be sincere, but it never crossed my mind. I told myself, I have made up my mind to leave if we die here, as we used to say it. So there was no time I ever regretted or wished I never left. So that's the truth.
Okay. So, Mr. Akele, yeah, did you have that moment?
I think mine is a direct opposite. My first year was a very wonderful one. I won't say terrible. You know, my first 7 months or 8 months in Canada. Oh, imagine not having any family member, even though I had like my community, you know, people from Nigeria and all of that. So the first shocker that I, experienced kind of made me wish why, like wished I did not leave Nigeria. You know, especially because I had to start all over from the scratch. You know, here nobody, there's no big man here. Even though you have PhD before you came to Canada or UK or wherever, it does not matter. You know, so knowing that I needed to start all over again as if I was a freebie, you know, yeah, that was a big blow. And because I didn't have anybody to turn to, no family member, so it took me time, about a year or so, to adjust before I was able to blaze, my feet.
Okay, thank you very much. Engineer Stephen, please.
Thank you. I think at some point, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I think it was more on the ethics part for me. You know, things are done in a structured way, from driving to your work to almost everything you do here. So everything is ethical. So at some point, you begin to think if you'll be able to keep up, you know, and you don't make errors, you don't make mistakes at your office. But initially, I'll say when I first started working, I had that doubt. Am I sure I will be able to keep up? Am I sure I'll be able to do this? But funny enough, I think God turned things around for my own good, because the more you work, the better you become. I think in a structured society, when you have everything available to you, the things you see, the equipment you work with, the people you interact with, the professionals you come across, you become better as you work. So I think that at that initial point, I had a doubt, couple of doubts there, that I might run into problems, especially when you see a couple of people around you. Oh, I was just sacked. I was this for this little mistake, for that mistake, for this mistake. And for some weird reasons, I was very close to people in the healthcare sector. So for me, as an engineer, all the people, about 80% of the people around you are either medical doctors or they are nurses. Maybe my wife, all my sisters are nurses, and then I have a couple of friends that are doctors here. So when we meet, it's like I'm talking to nurses, I'm talking to engineers, and you're hearing of issues of, okay, I just dozed off a little bit, and then somebody just came, and that was how I was laid off. And then you get scared, right? At that initial point in time, you get scared. But as God may have it, over time, you start to build confidence in what you do. And one thing I also got to understand here, which every one of you need to understand early, is that confidence is a tool that everybody here need to have. So when you have that confidence, you also have to build what we call self-development. When you build yourself, you develop yourself in whatever you do. You go out there, do whatever you can do. Then also just leave the rest to God, and God will make His way known in your life. I think that is the way for me. I handled mine. That doubt over time it cleared off. But I think initially you might doubt yourself when you see people around you doing all sorts of things. Also, I think you will also notice that maybe in the course of working, you'll see a couple of projects that people might have handled, might have done, and you're like, okay, where I'm coming from, I've never heard this kind of thing before. I have never done this kind of thing before. That might make you lose courage, and also you might also meet people along the way. Sorry, I'm going more professional here. Along the way, you might see people that might want to talk down on you based on maybe your color. But I think when you try to show what you're capable of and you're able to prove it, over time, you see that doubt begin to disappear over time. and then you see people, you begin to see that people, even others, will rely more on you to do some certain tasks that even they themselves can't do. So there's a lot of theory in people's head, and people that have practicals, but you see, going that step further, building yourself better, will take you to that next step, to that next level. I think that is where, for me, I had that self-doubt, trying to see how I can propel myself into the next level. Yeah, I think that is my contribution here.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I think because of time, let's move quickly to the next segment. So, work, career, and credentials. Let's look at work, career, and credentials. So, I will start with Mr. Promise. In Nigeria, we have our own qualification, we have our own certificate, our educational qualification. So, um, was your Nigerian qualification recognized abroad? Like, what was it like? If not, what did you do? How did you pick up? Did you have to start from scratch career wise? How did you manage that psychologically? Then I think I will have to take the questions one so that we come in faster. So then what type of jobs should someone realistically expect when they first arrive? Like for someone who is just okay, let me just go. What type of jobs should they expect when they first arrive? And then I will also add this one: what workplace culture? I think Engineer Steve actually threw a little bit of light on that. What work culture differences actually shocked you the most, like different from that of the Nigerian work culture, workplace culture?
Mine might be different from the rest. They are more of the professional part of it. Someone like me, I've always owned my business. I was going to say this if I was asked the previous question. That was my first shock because I've never worked for anybody. I've always owned my business from the scratch and built it, right? And when I came here, started looking for a job. The thing is this: there are two sides to this. Your paper qualification does not really matter at some point. Over here, they pay more attention to your skills. What skill set do you have to bring to the table? The qualification is good. Don't take it out of the picture. Now, for people who are more of the professional side, you have to do your masters. You have to get most times when you're looking for a job here, the first thing is, like I said, your skills. There are some of these qualifications. Some of these courses that people do to improve on their skills. This will take you higher than somebody who is just looking for paper certificates. They are not after the qualification. What's your paper certificate like? They are looking at what skills do you have. Now, for someone who is coming into the country for the first time, I must tell you the truth. It depends on how you planned yourself. Now, there are different routes to come into this country. There are people who have high-end skills, people that are coming into the country through the global talent visa, like people in tech. Once they come here, they already know what they are doing for. If it's someone like you who just want to come, navigate the system, build structure on how you're going to progress in your career, you might start from the scratch. You might start from the barest minimum. You can be a bank manager in Nigeria and come here and start doing a care job. But if you stay there for so long, is when it becomes a problem. The first thing is when you're coming here, you have to accept anything you see at the moment, but ensure you have a pathway to achieving what you actually want. I remember my first job here. That was what made me regret coming to the UK in the first place. When I went to that job, I'm like, I called my wife, is this what I'm going to do here? I'm not sure this is the kind of job I want to do here. I, I was almost regretting because someone who's a photographer for Nigeria, I go to work anytime I want to, I do my things the way I want. You have to go to work 7 o'clock in the morning, come back in the night. I'm like, no, do I want to do this? But as time progress, I started looking at, okay, what can I do to grow? Is this going to keep me in the system? There are jobs that are bringing in people to the country. Is this the kind of job I want to do to keep me in the system? Let me take this 4 or 5 years of my life to learn, acquire more skills, build more connection. Then by the time I finish with this phase, I'm going up there, right? But if you are here and you remain a cleaner, you remain a healthcare assistant without improving on your skill or following through that thing that you really, really want to do, that is part of you, that's your passion, and you don't put in work to grow in that thing, that is where the problem is. So the qualification does not really matter. It also matters. So why I say it does not really matter is, first, your skills is more important than your paper qualification. I did business administration. I've never used my certificates, to be honest. I've never used it to look for a job. But I've done series of boot camps, series of certification courses. I've written professional exams that are taking me to the path I want to I want to have. By the time I finish my own phase, I want to own a business. I'm a business person. I'm not more of the professional people like Papa Ray, Mr. Steve. I'm more of that person that want to be in the field, doing my own thing, having control of my own business. And that is what you need if you want to be here and you want to survive. Your 9 to 5 cannot take you where you want to be. You have to, while you're doing your 9 to 5, you have to get structure and building so much capacity to run something that will sustain you for a long time. Let me stop here for now.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. That was a wonderful one. So, Engineer Steven, what's your take on this?
Yeah. So thank you, and thanks, Promise, for that contribution. So the issue regarding recognition of said Nigerian qualification abroad, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is my take on this. First and foremost, there are assessments, educational assessments that you have to undergo. And this is one interaction that I've had with a couple of people that they want to come into Canada, they want to go to the US, they want to go to the UK, and then the first thing I ask them, what qualification do you have? Most of the time, oh, I want to do anything. No, you have to understand, what do you want to do? What are you doing on ground? What exactly do you have on ground? In fact, that paper qualification is what will give you a foothold on anything that you want to do. First of all, let me use Nigeria Canada as an example, but also even in the UK, because I understand how the UK immigration system is as well. I know right now, across the globe, what most nations are looking for are healthcare workers. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you were before, right? Even if it is the care job, even if it's a PSW, even if it's a nurse, that is what most countries right now will want to evaluate you based upon and allow you into their country, because as we find out year in, year out, immigration is becoming tighter in almost every country, right? So what people are looking for is what you can do, I'm just using healthcare as an example, what you can do, what you can bring in. And the first thing they're going to look at is they're going to evaluate you based on that, your paper qualification, right? So that paper qualification is very, very important. And if you want to come to Canada, the first thing I tell them is go do the WEST assessment. There is what we call WEST assessment. You can, if you have a degree, go do a WEST assessment and send your degree in there. I think it takes about 2 weeks to a month, and the assessment is going to come out, and that will tell you exactly what your result is equivalent to in the country that you're going to. I think you can do that for Australia, for Canada, for the US. Then I also understand for UK, if you have a degree, there's what we call step down. They step down your certificate. So if you graduate with a first class, you are seen as a 2-1 graduate. If you graduate as a 2-1, you're based on the evaluation that they do, they see you as a 2-2 graduate. And if you're a 2-2 graduate, they see you as a third-class graduate. So this is not meant to scare anyone. Also, one thing also in the UK as well, there are a couple of schools that are also not recognized. That is why the WEST assessment is really good. So you can put in, though I think it's because we talk too much, especially on the internet. Everything is always on the internet. Now, the latest I was reading was about the institutions in the UK trying to minimize the number of schools, graduates from the schools in Nigeria coming into the UK, because they've also learned from people online that people are going about buying certificates, right? People are going about buying certificates. So when you go about buying certificate, So when you want to come to Canada, to UK, to the US, they want to see that you actually own that certificate. So right now they make you go through a lot of rigorous screening. So, like in Ontario, I think it's done province by province basis. Each province have their own method of screening you to make sure you actually own that certificate that you claim you own. In the UK, I think it's done by the institution itself. So, if you're going to an institution or a school, they want you to prove beyond every reasonable doubt that you own that certificate. So one of the best ways to do that is send your certificate before you start anything. Just send your certificate, your degree, to West. Send your certificate to West. Let them evaluate it. When they evaluate it, they will come to you and let you know exactly what your qualification weighs. They're going to compare it to the standard of that country that you're trying to apply to. So regarding recognizing of our certificate, yes, our certificate is recognized. And one good thing about Canada is they actually also waived, I think about three years ago, they waived the English test requirement for people coming in to study in Canada. They waived it. So because the Canadian from statistics, the Nigerians that have come into Canada, they've proven beyond reasonable doubt that their English is at least above mid class. The general Nigerians that have come in here. So for Nigerians, the English requirement is somehow waived for majority of the schools in Canada. But also in the UK, I know I don't know if there is I can't remember if there is a requirement for taking the English test, but I know there is what we call the CLB, that you have to take some exams as a nurse. If you want to go into Canada, you take some exams, some written exams, some online exams, and a couple of things that you're going to do to just make sure that you meet that specific standard that they're actually looking for. Thank you.
Prosper, you can unmute. We can't hear you.
So sorry about that. So over to Mr. Ekele. Please quickly tell us what workplace cultural differences shocked you the most. Like, you were in Nigeria before you migrated to Canada. So what workplace cultural differences shocked you and how you were able to adjust to life?
Okay, I think I would still. Oh yeah, thank you very much. I will still a very valid point that engineer Stephen made about carrying yourself with dignity, not seeing yourself less than anybody. I remember the first job I got. I was the only black guy there. Every other person were white, born Canadians, born Americans, and all of that. And I came in as a general laborer. That was just the first thing I got. When I came to Canada, rather. So I think I was supposed to be on probation for like 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, before they employed me. But I didn't stay up to 2 months. By the time they saw, the stuff I was made of, oh, this guy is like he knows what he's doing. He's up to the task and all of that. Within 2 months, I was inducted. I was employed as a full-time employee in the midst of those, white guys and what have you. And along the line, I think not up to 2 months, if I'm not mistaken, I was made the supervisor. So the way I was able to overcome it, knowing that I'm coming from a third country, they could have seen me less if I did not carry myself with, integrity. I didn't see myself less than anybody. So I was able to carry myself with that, prowess, with that integrity, with that dignity, not looking down on myself because of the color of my skin. I didn't really see it as a shock. Like I had an heads up, before I got there. So that way I was able to navigate through.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Raymond.
Okay, let me just summarize everything. To start with, Nigerian qualifications are respected so long as you own it and you can prove that it's yours. Secondly, when you come in here, for those of us who came through the nursing route, we already had a job before we came here, so that one is not a problem. But if you come in here, maybe through other means, maybe as a student or through other means, like Mr. Promise said, be ready to start from the scratch, but have a plan to grow, have a structure. That's number two. Then, when it comes to work culture here, in fact, I ring this everywhere. I ring this every time. Please, all Nigerians hearing me, if you are still in Nigeria, know that the way they work here, I don't know about other countries, but I have a brother in US. He says the same thing, and I know maybe Stephen and my brother Ekene might confirm what I'm saying. The way they work here is far, far, far different from the way they work back home. You earn based on the hour you work. That means if your work's supposed to start by 7 and you come by 8, you will see your manager adjust your time in your very before from 7 to 8, except you have a cogent reason. Maybe you called in earlier to tell them that maybe you have a flat tire or you missed your bus, but some managers will still tell you, no, yeah, good. Oh, thank God you're here. Oh, well, fine. But they will still adjust your time. So because the earning is time based. Now here they know say time na money, now read time na money. If you're supposed to close by 5 p.m. and you have any reason whatsoever, whether deliberately or indeliberately, to leave by 4, they will adjust that time from 4 to 5, from 5 to 4, and that will affect your pay. And here, we usually joke it with my wife. Here, when you day walk, you day walk. Forgive my grammar. For those of you who may not be able to flow in this level of English, when you are at work here, you are at work. If you are not supposed to sit, you can't sit. If maybe your work requires, for example, as a nurse, I do like more than 20,000 steps a day because I'm at work. If your work doesn't require you to sit on a desk, they must see you standing and walking around and doing something, except during your break. Which your break, you are mandated to take that break because it's not paid for. So the working system here is different. There is no nonchalancy. There is no I don't care attitude. There is no excuse. The only thing you can do is just tell them you are sick. You can call and tell them, I can't come to work, I'm sick. They will tell you to stay home. It's better you are at home doing whatever you are doing, calling in sick, than you come to work and then you'll be playing around. Or if once they notice, they'll just ask, are you okay? Once you make one complaint, I think they'll just tell you go home. And once you are going home, they are adjusting your time immediately. So work here is far different from back home. And let me use my sector as an example, the healthcare sector. In the healthcare setting, what you see in your general hospitals or teaching hospitals is not allowed here. The patients have more rights than you. In fact, over here, it looks that way. Like in most sectors, your customers or your clients have more rights than you. Like you value your clients more than you. So if you are, for example, as a nurse, you are at work, or as a doctor, you can be treating your patient for COPD. That you can be treating your patient for lung cancer, and the patient will still be smoking cigarette, and you have nothing to say about it. You have nothing to say about it. You can be treating somebody for obesity, and the person will still have some junks on his table. You have nothing to do about it. So the work here is dress up, come to work when you're supposed to come to work. Make sure you are working. They must see you working and seeing the result of your working, and go home when you are supposed to go home and come back when you're supposed to come back. So they don't joke with work here, not for any reason. So that's one of the work cultures that I said I will emphasize here. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So, I think this particular question, I will start with Mr. Promise. Okay, how do, for intending people who might want to also go this path, how do you identify migration opportunities? I believe most of us might have had experiences before now, like experiences of fields, applications, and stuff like that. So I will start with Mr. Promise. How do you identify remigration opportunities, and then the types of migration opportunities and spotting genuine ones?
First and foremost, abstain from fake agents. That's the first thing. You have to do your first due diligence to abstain from agents that will tell you to bring money. Don't worry, we'll put you in the plane and you get there and everything will be sorted out. Right? That's the first assignment. Number two assignment, spot the right people. There are schools like the best way to come to this country is through educational route or the global talent route, or if you're a professional nurse like Papa Ray. Now, if you're coming through as a student, like Mr. Stevens said, ensure you've gone to the right school. If you go to there are some certain schools that your certificate will be a problem for you to be able to get into the educational system. Yeah, but that's like the easiest way to travel abroad. First is go through educational system. Number two, the global talent route. I think the Canada should have that same route. US should also have that. UK, there's what they call global talent route for even artisans, people like tailors, photographers. I'm also on the pool currently because I want to move into that route. There, people in tech. If you are this young person who is aspiring to travel abroad and you don't have so much finances to go through the school route, the global talent route is one of the cheapest and the best, but you need to do your due diligence. The due diligence is you have to ensure you meet a certain requirement for you to be able to go through that route. Now, if you're a young person and you intend to travel, whatever age you are, you want to travel abroad, you don't have too much money, this global talent route is something you need to start researching about. You have to start developing your skills either in tech, in art, whatever you do. Look at the requirements they need. Start gathering those requirements. Start building portfolio. The problem with us, I'll use myself as an example. Before I started my immigration journey, and that was why I got duped. And that was why I said avoid illegal and fake agents. Mr. Steve can testify to that. I did a Canada immigration interview, submitted my passport before I traveled to the UK. For more than a year, I did not hear anything. I was already in the UK before I heard from them to submit my passport to come and to submit my passport. I was already in the UK when they called me. Something I did years back. Now, to tell you the worst part, I went in there with the notion that I applied for a work visa. But guess what? When they invited me over, it was for a visitor visa. So imagine the irony, because we depended on, okay, yeah, agents should do it. The problem here is most Nigerians want to travel, but we are very lazy to research. We're very lazy to do the work. My wife is a consultant. She's helped over 20 people to come study abroad she has a business called Swift Trade Consulting, where she helps students prepare their document, tell them what they want, put in the work. Most of the students don't even want to put in the work. They'll tell you, okay, provide this, get us an SOP, do this one. Oh, how do I do SOP? And you want to come and study abroad. You want to come abroad. You don't know how to write SOP. They're asking you to provide this information. You say, how do you go about it? Go and write IET. You're asking, is there somebody that can write the IET for you? Doesn't make any sense. You need to learn how to put in the work, make the research. Like I said, if you go on government website, UK government website, it's called gov.uk, type global talent visa, right? You will see all the requirements. If you feel like, okay, I want to travel in 2027 or 2028, this is the best time. This is the best time to start building portfolio, start, getting all the documents ready, and that can help you transition better in traveling. You want to go to school, fine. While you're saving your money, ensure your result is good. If you are still in school, make sure you're not coming out with 2-2. Because, like you said, they downgrade your results. Most times, some people are supposed to come here to come and do masters. They will end up coming to start all over again, maybe doing undergrad and all that. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand that you need to put in the work. There are a lot of resources online. Like if you want to travel to Canada, go to their website, look out for opportunities. You want to travel to UK, go to I've given, like most of us, one. The best way, the cheapest way is the global talent visa. If you are a tailor, a photographer, you're into tech, try and start building portfolio for yourself. Start asking questions. Go online, go on YouTube, look at people who have done this before. Some of them carry out some of these sections where they talk about how their processes were, the journey, and what they did. If it will cost you to pay for a section for them to put you through, do it, put in the work, go to seminars, go to communities, carry out exhibitions, do some of these things. When you have this portfolio, it's very cheap for you to come in here. And once you come in here, their visa is easier. You can run your business, you can do every other thing. So these are ways you should. But first and foremost, like I said, avoid fake agents. Be ready to research and put in the work. Even if you are coming here to do school and the agent say, "Don't worry, just submit everything I'll do," don't trust them. That is a fake agent. Any agent that is telling you, "I will do it for you," they are lying. They don't issue visa. Do you understand? They take your money and they put you in disparity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you must put in the work. That was very wonderful, a very wonderful one. So, Apare, you have anything to say on this particular point?
Okay. He has said one, which is the student route. For me, I came into the nursing route. We are called the International Educated Nurses. Actually, we got our job ready before we came here. So they sent us COS, which we used to process visa and all that. But so that's one of the routes through the through the head. We call them skilled worker visa. It's actually for all most jobs that are in the what we call, is it disadvantaged list or something like that. So there are a list of jobs you can come in through that skilled worker visa. So that was how I came in. So, but just like Promise said, let me say this again. If anybody tells you to bring all the money and go and rest and wait for a visa, please run. That person is a scammer. It doesn't work like that. That's one. Two, please don't want to travel, like maybe after hearing this, after attending this meeting, now you say you want to travel by December. It's not going to be possible. Except you want to do witches and wizard format of traveling. Aside that, it's not going to be possible. It's something you plan. I started my plan in 2022 and I left in 2024. So it's something you plan gradually. And like Promise said, you should be able to have knowledge of the process. In fact, somebody was surprised when I told him that I didn't pay anybody 1 naira from visa application, everything, even for my family. I did them on my laptop. Went to interview by myself. Nobody knew anything. I didn't pay anybody any money. Why? Because I did my due diligence to research. And another thing, I paid for a group coaching. Very important. There was one lady that is very good at bringing nurses, giving them information. So she was the one that gave me the information of the people that gave me job. So I paid for it. So I was in that class. I was in that group, paid group. So when she releases the information, so I got. So these are the things you should do deliberately. Don't just call someone and say, "Please help me. I want to travel out." As in, I don't understand what groundwork have you done? What is your information base? Then what are the things you are putting? What are the structures? What knowledge do you have? That country now, okay, yeah, I remember this. We have someone in Canada here, someone in UK here. We are speaking basically from covering major 4 countries now, which we have mentioned. We've mentioned America, we have mentioned Canada, we have mentioned UK. I think Stephen mentioned Australia. Now, if you listen carefully, we were very careful, these countries we are mentioning. We didn't mention countries that you go by boat. No. We mentioned countries, you go to embassy, Kurukuru, they screen you, they give you a paper, you enter a flight. So for me, I can't help anybody who wants to travel through the sea or through the road. I can't do that. So you must be deliberate about the countries also you want to go to. Don't just wake up and say, "I want to leave Nigeria," anywhere they go. Well, if that is the choice, fine. But for those of us speaking, we are very deliberate about the particular country you are going to. Any country you want to go to, make sure you do your research and look at the processes. There are free information there which you can get. So that's what I would like to say from my own end. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Ikele, what do you have to say on this? I trust
Okay.
you.
Yes, someone said something that the internet is rich with information. Any answer you want to get, just type on your Google, you will find the answer. And like Promise said, a lot of people, not that they don't know what they want, but they are just too lazy. They want to sit down, fold their arms, and have someone do all the job for them. The internet is so rich, with information. So any information you want to get, I think it starts with you knowing what you want. If you want to travel to Canada, if you want to travel to the UK, you want to travel to the US, take time to, find out about those countries, research about those countries, their culture, their whatever, their language. Do you require this before you are able to travel to the country and all of that? So I think Promise mentioned the school route, which is I think one of the surest, like if you want to travel abroad, the school route happens to be, I would say, is the easiest. I don't know for others, but that was the route I used, to come to Canada. But I think it's the most expensive route in that you have to pay your tuition fee. Sometimes they allow you to pay installmentally. Even the money you have to pay first before traveling is a lot. And now you come to Canada or the UK or America, let's say you've not even found a job, you've not gotten a job. You still have to pay your tuition fee. You can't go to school to explain to them that you don't have money to pay, part of your tuition fee. You understand? So you need to prepare yourself. Make sure you have all it takes before you embark on this journey. So the school route, yes, it is easy, but it is the most expensive route. So maybe I'm going to send a link to Mr. Prosper later. Like I was saying the other time, when I came into Canada, I did not just get into my field. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so when I came into Canada, I did not just get into my field. A pastor said something. He said, like what you find before you find what you like. Do you understand that? Like what you find, anything available, grab it first before, you find your way, before you adjust, before you do what you have to do. Like for me, when I came into Canada, I just quickly got a job, like a paying job, as long as it was giving me money. So it was after I got my PR, or my permanent residency, that was when I went to school to study immigration studies. You understand? So you can grab anything. If it is through school, know that even when you enter Canada, you will keep spending. But if you are coming through other routes like the express entry or maybe the nursing one like our brother Ray spoke about, those ones you are able to sort yourself out in Nigeria before you come to Canada. But if you are coming through the school route, you will pay money before leaving. And when you come to Canada, you will still keep on paying until you are done paying your tuition fee. And guess what? People spend like 2, 3, 4, 5 years paying tuition fee until they are done. You understand? Yes, it is easy, but it is very expensive. So there is this express entry route. I think this one, you don't even need an agent to help you, except you are the lazy type of person. In fact, I was just smiling when, I think, was it Promise or Mr. Ray that said the agents that wanted to help him out, duped him and did not even get back to him until he traveled. Same thing happened to me, but thank God, this time I had not even given them money yet. He only asked for my resume, my this, my that, my passport data page, which I sent to him. The young man did not even get back to me until after 2 years when he saw my post that I was in Canada. That was when he chatted me up. So he was now asking me, Baba, how you take enter Canada? I'm like, I thought you were an agent. You are supposed to. So just imagine, you are an agent, you called yourself an agent. And thank God, I sent, was it 50,000 naira then for just, is it registration fee or so? Like not the actual money, just to document whatever. I gave him 50,000. And it was like, oh, I'm working on your resume. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. I want to make sure that your application is in line with what they want. I was just there nodding my head, like a gamma lizard, as though he knew what he was doing. So when he saw my post that, hey, this guy has relocated, though, he was not the one reaching out to me. Baba, how you take travel? I mean, show me way. And this is supposed to be an agent. So you see, so if you don't do your due diligence, your findings, your research, not only will they dupe you, you might never travel. You understand? So like I said before, I'm going to send a link to, because I studied immigration studies. There's a link I will forward to Mr. Prosper, if he wants. It's an express entry link so that from the comfort of your home, you can apply to relocate to Canada. You understand? If you want to go through the school routes, you want to go through whatever skilled, like other routes, everything is available. You can do it from the comfort of your home. without even needing an agent, except you are the lazy type. But if you are lucky enough to find a reliable agent, someone who knows the job, then good for you. Now, we're saying, some agents are this and that does not mean, we're not trying to generalize it. Trust me, there are good agents out there. You understand? That will advise you, tell you what you need to know, and they put you through and all of that. If you find one, then go ahead and work with them. So that would be my advice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Engineer Stephen, lastly, before we go to the next.
Okay, yeah, so I like all the contributions so far, but I will start with the agent. So for me, I think there are still good agents that can also help you and guide you properly. Like what Promise initially said, just go and sit down and do nothing. Definitely, it's a fake. So when it looks too real and too good, and then you have to do nothing, just know for sure that it's a fake. I wrote down a couple of points while my fellow speakers were talking. Number one, there are lots of information online. And also there are people that you can also get information from. Like for me, it was from, I never even knew about Canada until one of my friends just called me from nowhere. Steve Alpha, what are you still doing in Nigeria? They're looking for your kind of field here. Go and apply immediately, And I was like, okay, how do I come in? Oh, you get master. I don't get master. You get what I mean? So I would have come in through the PRO route if I had a master's, but then I did not. So what the point I'm trying to emphasize here is where you are at that particular point you are at this moment. Try to build a portfolio. I think Promise mentioned it. Build yourself up. You are just there in Nigeria sitting. You want to travel. At that point in time, what are you doing? Right? Improve yourself. There are the good thing now. There are schools almost everywhere. In Agbo there, you have a university there. You can start building yourself. You can start taking a part-time course. You can start doing a master's degree. You can start doing something. Look at what is required and start doing it. Even, driving too. Just driving is also something that is a skill that they need here. They need truck drivers. Like truck drivers, these are things that people don't really like doing because you can be on the road for 2-3 days. You are transiting between Canada, US, Mexico. You have to go through all these borders. You need to understand the immigration rules for this country. You need to have your papers also correct. Yeah, they're looking for those kind of drivers, and we find most of the Indians that come in. That's most of what they do. When they come into Canada, they are always driving around. There's also the part for those kind of people. We have that route here. Promise mentioned it in the UK. We also have that route here. We have heavy-duty machine operators here as well, right? Because you have those that operate forklifts, that operate heavy-duty machines, equipment, and all those kind of stuff. We have them here. They are looking for those people, but those skills, they are high in demand. But we can do that. I've interacted with a couple of people, and then they told me, Steve, I want to come to Canada. And I said, okay, what do you have? Okay, this is what I have. What are you doing currently? Nothing. There is no way you can be doing nothing. There is something I also observed in Canada, in their Canada application form. They put it from step to step. Like from this year to this year, what were you doing after you graduated? From that. So if they see, I think in the first application I did to come to Canada, I was rejected. And I saw they said from about 6 months that I was idle. I wasn't doing anything. I had to go, but when I was reapplying, I had to go back. I had to fill it. Then I was taking a course. I just put it there. I was doing this course from this time to this time. I feel it. They don't want to see that you are idle, right? So these are some of the things that they look at the point that you are in now. It shouldn't always be, I want to travel. If you travel, what can you offer? What can you do there? I spoke to somebody and I was talking to him and he said, Steve, I beg, I won't come Canada. I sent him a link. I said, okay, go and apply to this link. He didn't touch the link for almost 2 years. And then I reached out to him after about 2 years. I said, bro, what's happening? He said, Steve, I've been wanting to reach you. I entered the site. I don't understand what you did inside there. I was like, wow, that's a big problem, So these are some of the things. The information is there. It's just for us to be able to access it. We are so lazy to access it. Now, The other thing I want to point out from that story I just gave is don't look for shortcuts. Don't look for shortcuts. I was talking to somebody and I said, these are routes that you need to come in as a healthcare professional in Canada. My wife is a healthcare professional. He said, no, there is this route that I know that somebody came into. You can just come into Canada and you start walking. And funny enough, I was handling a case of somebody that came in through that route because she came in through that route and she had a closed work permit. The people that brought her in, they were fake. And I was like, so as soon as they came in, the person said, I don't bring you come Canada, find your way. I was like, it doesn't work that way. We had to officially apply to IRCC, wrote them a formal letter and told them that we need this girl's work permit to be made open so that she can work somewhere else because she was in the country 6 months. It was one of us from our church that introduced her to me and said she had that issue. And then we did all the writing and we said, we have to make this known to IRCC. There are two options. They said that they send you back or they make it open. So you can't just sit down here because even if you hide in the country, after 2 years or 3 years, your visa is going to expire and they're still going to come for you and you're still going to go back to the country. It's better you let them know early, right? So there are different routes. There are fraudulent routes. There are routes people try to use to beat the system. But the problem is when you get in, how do you fit in? How do you integrate? Those are some of the things that we need to look at. Then thirdly, okay, I already mentioned that start building your portfolio anywhere you are. Like to come into Canada, to be sincere, to come into Canada, to apply for a permanent residency, direct through if you want to go to, as a professional, you have to have a master's for your points to be a bit high. But I think that is somehow cancelled now because immigration right now is being streamlined, is being tightened up. So coming into Canada now is really, really difficult if you are not really in the healthcare profession. So, but aside that, you need to, if you just have a degree and you are in Nigeria, you have the plans of traveling out. There are schools around you. In fact, there are online schools around you. I was just speaking to someone and he told me he's almost done. He did a program in business management, something, and then he's in his fourth year attending a program from Nigeria. He's in his fourth year studying programming language. Is it programming? Computer programming. He's in his fourth year in the US. So why some of us are spending so much time on Facebook, chatting, doing all sorts of rubbish? This guy is just sitting down in Benin and he's doing his program. And then when he's done, he's going to apply for a master. And with that, he now has a degree, right, from the US. He's going to apply to the same school to come do a master's program. And you see, he's coming to the US will be very swift and easy for him because he already has supervisors that can vouch for him. He already has our colleagues there too that they do their projects and assignments together. Why some of us we just sit down doing nothing, right? And then also we also need to count the cost. We also need to count the cost. Promise mentioned something. He said every hour counts. You're working. I think Ray also said it. Your time is adjusted. So there are various ways of you can make more money in the right way within the confines of the law almost everywhere. But nobody gives you any money, and nobody gives you any money. You have to work for your money. The bills, in Nigeria, you can decide to go sit in your father's house and you won't pay any bill. Your father can build a house and decide not to connect electricity to the house and he's not going to pay a power bill. You can decide to dig a borehole, right? And then you don't pay water bill. But when you cross over, the bill, you have to pay them. Sometimes it's automated. It just comes out from you. Maybe you earn maybe $9,000 a month, in a month. Okay. Maybe you earn $4,000, $5,000 in a month, right? The bills, they just go out, right? You have a mortgage that you're paying for, right? They're not going to ask you, come on, in Nigeria, sometimes you see them fighting over rent and house rent and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it just comes out as your pay comes in, it comes out. When you default, if you have a house that you're paying for, you default 2-3 times, the bank comes for your house. And maybe you've paid for maybe 18 years, 10 years, 5 years. That money is gone. The house is gone. If you default like twice, nobody is going to pay for you. And also, opportunity waits for nobody, right? The other day I celebrated my 40th birthday and I was just thinking about time and how the time and seasons that have passed and the opportunity that I took, the opportunities that I did not take. Right at the point where when I started, before I started this my immigration, I was into photography as well back home in Nigeria. I was just covering basically camp programs. I focused more on covering camp programs and events, But at some point, I got a job as a fiber optic engineer with one of these companies in Lagos, and I was talking to Dr. Onwegbu. Most of you know Dr. Onwegbu, and he told me something. He said, "This is what we take you abroad." I never thought about traveling out there when she told me that. He said, "This is what we take you abroad." I was like, "What do you mean?" Then they were paying me 50,000 naira. That was what I was being paid. I said, "Bet when I was Tito photography, I was getting times 4 of this." He said, "Steve, forget about photography. This is what we take you. This is what we take you out of Nigeria." That was what he meant. He told me, and I was like, "Okay, I'll think about it." But funny enough, that was what gave me my first job when I came into Canada. In fact, when I was still in the university, all the places I applied to wanted me to come in, and I took a pause. I said, "Okay, now there is an opportunity around this field. Okay, just wait, focus, finish your program, then you just click in." There must be a building block. You must build from somewhere. You must start somewhere. I was talking to someone, I believe he might be listening to this program. And the next thing, he told me, "Oh, I'm an engineer." And I told him, "Do you have something that you can prove to show that, oh, okay, I have done this?" You don't need to know everything. That's one thing. You don't need to know everything. But what you have done, be sure, be strong, be able to convince people that, okay, this is what I have done. I am an electrical engineer. I'm an electrical engineer. I am a civil engineer. I am a chemical engineer. And they are asking you formulas for things, and you can't even, because the interviews you're going to go to, some of them are very, very basic. They are going to be asking you basic physics principles, basic chemical principles. Those are the basic things they're going to ask you. And these are things that you are expected to know even when you are in the high school or in your secondary school. And some of us, we don't even know them. We've forgotten them because it's not that we don't know them. It's because we are so focused on making money. Right? We're so focused on making money. Sometimes some of us, you meet some people, you're looking for information from them. Instead of getting the information and grabbing the right information, we are looking for, okay, how can I get money from this person? I was still in school. I was in a month. I was getting, people think you pick the money from the tree. I was still in the school year, getting money from Nigeria, and people were calling me to tell me to send them money back. Go, Steve, you did Canada now. Send us money. Send us money. And then you see that when you don't do that, you become like not just school. There might be organizations calling you, churches might be calling you, people might be calling you. I think I will just wrap up by saying one skill too that you need to learn is learning how to say no, and also learning how to ignore. A church can call you, "Oh, I need to do this." You are basically struggling here. You cannot pay your rent. You cannot pay your mortgage. You cannot pay your fees. You are owing, like Ekene said. Some people, there's what we call OSAP here. People take OSAP, right? People take OSAP. They are paying debts. Your debt is accumulating. And the funny thing about Canada is, I think it's same applies to the UK, Australia as well. When the government is willing to give you money. There is lots of money you take OSAP. They are enjoying it. If even a mortgage is like you are owning a house, but they are happy to give you that money because you are yielding interest. The time you don't pay, the interest is increasing. For every time you don't pay, you are paying almost double for that money you're owing. And then somebody is calling you back home that does not understand how you got to UK, Canada, to anywhere you are, and they are asking you for money. And you, because you want to please everybody, you're sending back money, you're changing money, you're sending money to everybody. And in a month, initially when I first came in here, in fact, the first 3, 4, 5 months that I worked here, plus people that I never met, all the acquaintances, they were reaching out to me as, "Steve, I need money, I need this." I was busy. I was saying to ask, "It's not $20. I'll just change it, $20 take." And as God will forgive all these people that created all these fintech apps. It's so easy to convert money now, but it's just $10. You change it, it's $20. It's easy to change money, and then you're sending it to, and then This it adds up. At the end of the day, you look at it, you sent 1,000, you sent $2,000 back home. And then when you look at it, your rent is due. Your rent is $2,500. And then you have 2,400 left. You're only being stupid. So at that point in time, you must know when to say no. You must know when to stop. Because you can be very, very financially reckless. And at the end of the day, even your goal, if you lose it, okay, I will also make just one point left so that I think I'm overshooting the time. Just one more point left. Even at the end of the day, when you want to travel, right, or where you are presently, the people around you, when I started, I made mention of information and the circle that I have, right? Circle that gives me proper information. You need to be around a circle that you can benefit from, that can give you information. Because I've seen people, when I first came to Canada, there was a guy that came in and he went for a club. For me, I will not say don't go to a club. You know what is good for you. You know what your parents are sending you there for. You know what you want to do. And the guy went in Ottawa, yeah, and he went in there. And that day, one Mexican just came and just stabbed him. That was how he died. He was a student. I'm not saying you should not go out. I'm not saying you should not party. I'm not saying you should not do what you need to do. But if you have a plan, you have a focus. It's not everybody that you mingle with. It's not everybody that you try. There are people that their paths and your path, they don't even align at all. What is the benefit? Because you want to belong. When I was in Uniport, then I had a lot of. I stayed off campus by God's grace. I stayed off campus. I was on my own. I had back in 2005, 2006. I have people that were into Yahoo. They were driving cars while I was still in school. I was like, oh, but one thing I learned from being there is my parents, they will give me 10,000 naira. These guys making over 1,500,000, scamming people, they were still coming to borrow 1,000, 2,000 from me. And I was like, what? Okay, wait a second. Where's this money going into? What are these people using this money for? That's to tell you that at the end of the day, they don't have a foundation. And that kind of lifestyle is not sustainable. You get what I mean? It's not sustainable. There is nothing you can do with that. So what I would advise us, look at the people around you. Look for a mindset. You can look for mentors. There are people that have done it before. There are people that are doing it, that are currently within that line. Look for those people, merge with them. Make sure that you're building yourself up. You're looking at the cost. There is every information that you need. It's online. If you need direction, there are people that will direct you. Look for them, and then ask the right questions. Not calling somebody and asking them, I never chop your money before. That person I'm telling you, that person, even if he has, it's going to give you maybe at that point, but after that point, he's blocking you the next moment. The next time you're going to call that person, you're not going to be able to reach that person. And you've lost that very, very valuable contact. And that contact might be the contact that would have taken you to your next level. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I think it's been an interesting time, and even if we decide to close now, I believe we have learned a whole lot. We have learned a whole lot. So this is still before you japa segments right now, live on our YouTube channel, and there is a link that Mr. Promise dropped is on the comment section on the YouTube chat, on the live chat comment section. Two global talent visa links are there. I think I'll also project them on the screen. Check your comment section. You're going to see them there. So do well to click on those links, and then if there are questions you also need to ask, you can also channel towards the right um, direction. And also, there's another one that Dr. Ken promised to drop. I will also be uploading that on the comment section soon, in a moment. So now we are running out of time, but let's see how we can manage the few moments we have left. Now let's talk about the emotional side, like identity, family, community. Let's talk about faith. Let's talk about relationships, and let's talk about Nigerian identity. Let's also talk about skin color and racial. I think Mr. Stephen actually mentioned that earlier. So now, first of all, migrating to a different locality entirely. We'll start with Mr. Promise. How did it affect your faith life, your relationship with your family back home? Was there any point where you felt like you were losing your Nigerian identity? How did you hold on to it? Were there moments when um, your accent, your skin, your color or background actually created barriers? How do you handle them? And how important was it finding a Nigerian community when you arrived? And how did you build trust with that Nigerian community and also the locals around that place? Thank you.
Okay, my case might be different from others. I didn't get lost actually. Before I came to the UK, I must say I've been very dedicated with the work of God in church, active member. I hold a position that at least I'm able to influence some of the younger ones before I left. So me coming here was to continue from where I stopped, right? Um, the first church I visited is the same church I'm still going up till now. And what kept me there was same thing I was doing in Nigeria. I figured out that I needed to put myself in that same position to be able to stay consistent, right? So my relationship with God did not stop. However, in my community here, the UK is one thing I love about the UK is it's very diverse and we have a very large community of black members, right? When I came, because my partner has been here before myself, there's a group. So when you go to a new city, ensure you get the information to know about their community group, maybe WhatsApp group or something. Because I'm a photographer and I actually wanted my business to keep going. I was looking for some of those active groups that has large number of black people. And by the time people started seeing my work, I started going out. It gave me that connection. I was meeting a lot of people, like very quick. I was meeting a lot of people. In less than 3 months, I've met a lot of black communities. I did not feel lonely. I did not feel any racial whatever. To be honest, they are different. Everybody have different experience. I've never looked at my skin color to say um, I'm black and this person is better than me. As a matter of fact, in my workplace, I dominate, and that is one good thing about my workplace. I can speak to anybody they know. So even my directors, they because of how active I am and how spoken I am in my workplace, they don't put me below standard, right? Now, mine is good. Like I said, we have a very large community. I moved into a particular city that there's a lot of black people, and that helps my business to thrive. That helped my photography business to thrive because each time I drop my work in that group, a lot of people are reaching out, people are coming in. We're having barbecue sections, we're having outing. I'm involved. I joined the very active union within my workplace and became an active rep there where I have the opportunity to travel, meet people, speak. So I never had that, racial whatever. The only thing I probably had challenged with when I first came was hearing their accent. It was a bit of a problem because the British accent is so difficult to hear. Most time when you listen to the real British people, you say pardon, pardon, pardon. So when I first started, if me and my wife go somewhere, they will say, "What did they say?" she, will- she will say they said this. So she was one interpreting at some point. I said, I didn't get it. You say this is what they said. I said, okay. Then I became more confident to tell them, you know what, listen, I appreciate how you speak, but can you tune it down a little bit for me to get it? But at some point, that phase passed and I started hearing better. So that was the only problem. It will happen. You live in Nigeria where your English is basic and listening to a British accent when they call water water, you definitely know that there's a problem somewhere. So that is not my fault. It's not something that should affect you. Do you understand? You get to learn into the system and get used to it. By the time you're speaking to them, you're going to the shop, you're asking them, please, I remember I was asking someone, where can I find toilet roll? And the person was like, toilet roll. They didn't get it on time. Oh, no, I was looking for Servette. Yeah, Servette. He said, "Oh, Servette." He said, "Oh, tower." I said, oh, is it tower you call it? Yeah, we call it servant. Okay, that's fine. I leave tower. So you get used to it. It's a normal thing. So, but I've never had any racism, even when we have I don't want to use the name dickhead, but we have some people who are mentally not okay, that they want to intimidate you because you're black. But I'm very confident. I'll tell you to your face, So I'm not intimidated. That's my own experience,
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Ekene.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, let me just continue from where Mr. Promise stopped. I remember one of my first experiences too. I went to a store called Dollarama. Engineer Stephen will know. So me, I like granuts very well. So I went there to buy granuts. So I asked the lady, where can I find granuts? It took us like 10 minutes before she understood what I was trying to say. Until finally she suggested peanuts. I was like, peanuts? And then she said yes. So I went to the aisle and I saw my granuts. I mean, this is granite. What is peanut? So that part really made me laugh. So as per faith, the truth of the matter is, if you travel abroad without having a solid foundation in Christ, trust me, you will go haywire. There's a popular saying that when the root is strong, there is no need to fear the storm. So the truth is, if your root is not strong, you have to fear the storm. So you've got to brace yourself, especially if you are a Christian. When you come abroad, you will see things. We say Nigeria is corrupt or Africa is corrupt. We see girls, the way they dress. We see people, how they do their things. And you think they are corrupt. They are not corrupt. Come abroad and then you will see. You see kids of 10 years old, 12 years, 15 years. They don't need to hide. They are not hiding from dad or mom. Because even their parents don't even have any say. If you misbehave, they will call the cops on you. The cops will come, grab your children and say you are disturbing your children, or you are punishing them or whatever. You see children kissing on the streets. Sometimes when I don't want to use the elevator and I say let me use the stairs, you see kids smoking, not normal cigarette, those thick ones. I don't know what they call it. You understand? So if your faith is not strong, a lot of things will sway you. When I was in Nigeria, I was a Sunday school teacher. I attended ROCCG back then when I was in Nigeria. So I was a Sunday school teacher, a youth pastor. So there was no much, difference. So that when I came here, that was the first thing I did. And like Mr. Promise said, the first church I attended when I came to Canada is the church I'm still attending till date by the special grace of God. And good thing, the pastor is a Nigerian. And in fact, when I came to Canada, the very day I came to Canada, the man that was introduced to me, like we never met before, the man just took me in as though we've known. So I stayed in his house for like 5 years or so, before I moved out because I was here alone. My wife, at the time was not, with me. So through him, I was able to meet a number of, Nigerians. So socializing was not really a big deal. Like it was not really a hassle for me. So I was able to, meet a number of my community people, Nigerians, so that I had every information. In fact, one of the members of my church till date, because by God's grace, I'm a citizen of Canada. When I got my passport or when I got my citizenship, I dedicated it to her because it was through her my journey of immigration started. So you see, so I got to know her from church, and she's a Nigerian. You get, so socializing, integrating, blending with your people was one of I would say was one of the ways I was able to find it easy when I came to Canada. From day one until I was able to build my tentacles, I was able to find my feet. It was never difficult for me, because I knew how to socialize and all of that. So about the racial barriers, I think I answered this question in one of the questions that was asked by Mr. Prosper. I think I missed the question, so I was, providing this answer about how I got a job and then I did not see myself less than anybody. I came in as a general laborer. That was the first job I got in Canada. So I didn't just, go ahead with what I was doing in Nigeria, before I came, because I knew that I was going to spend a lot. So I needed to be patient, sort of, My plan was to get my PRO before going back to school, and that was what I did. As soon as I got my PRO, immediately I went back to school. So when I got my first job, I did not see myself less than anybody. My manager, a white, some of my co-workers, they are, whites and all of that. But within a short time, I dominated. Like already said before, my probation period was supposed to be 6 months. But within 2 months, I was already an employed, worker, and I was made the supervisor of everybody. So they would not say because this guy is black or because this guy is not white when he already knows what to do. So when they see that you have what to offer, nobody would look at your skin. So I did not see myself less, and my bosses did not see me less. And as a matter of fact, like in Nigeria, where you can just walk up to people and just start preaching to them about Christ, telling them about Jesus and all of that. It's not so here. There are some people, like especially in the workplace, if you go to maybe a colleague to preach to them about your religion, they might, report you, and then you get yourself into trouble. But my boss, who happens to be, he's not a Christian, neither is he, in fact, he does not practice any religion. He's an atheist. He tells us that, hey, I'm an atheist. But I was able, because of our relationship, I was able to minister to him. And the other day, he came to me and said, Ekene, do you know that my daughter, has professed to be a Christian? I'm like, what a good news. You understand? This is somebody who is an atheist. His wife, an atheist. They don't practice no religion. So maybe from our conversation, because I was able to blend with him so that I don't just see him as a boss, like we relate as though we are siblings. And then he took the message home, and his daughter professed that, she's now a Christian. So it all started from me not seeing myself less. So when I talk to them, I don't talk to them as one who is from a third country. Not at all. He's a citizen of Canada. Me, I'm also a citizen. It does not matter where I come from. We are all citizens. You understand? So how to carry yourself with so much dignity, do what you have to do, don't play games, and trust me, people are watching. So that would be it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very, very wonderful one there. So, Engineer Steven, please.
Yeah, so I think, bro, can you just even said everything in my that I had to say? Don't see yourself less. Once everybody around you notice that you carry yourself with that aura, and you don't see yourself less than anybody, you see they start placing you in positions that even you won't imagine. For me also, I think I have almost the same story as Promise and Ikene. As soon as I came in, the first community I joined was a church. I Actually, yeah, that was a church. I joined the RCCG. That was the church I've been with, and I've been with them up till now. Myself and the church, we've actually grown. We've grown from a small kiosk. We bought a property. In fact, we are now the headquarters of RCCG Americas too. So, if you are in radio, you know where I am.
Maybe I will join you. Huh?
So, the point is the community that you find yourself in, it goes a long way to tell you or to help you integrate. Like when I came in here, I told you I work with information. The set of people I joined were people that were in the master's degree program as well. Like me, we had the same plan, the same focus, we had the same purpose, right? So I met these people, and then we teamed up together from within the church, and we had our study plan, even opportunities where to go do some kind of part-time jobs and all those kind of things. We're sharing it within ourselves, and that helped us grow. And finally, I would say you have to prepare. Preparation will always meet opportunity, right? Let's forget about is there racism or no racism. Let's forget about it. There is Just see it as tribalism that you have in Nigeria. I was in a company in Nigeria where the company was split into two. We had the Yoruba people and we had the Agbo people, because the company was owned by a politician in Nigeria. We had the Yoruba people, we had the Agbo people. As soon as I stepped into the company, they thought I was from Agbo because I basically grew up in Agbo, and they told me, oh, all these Yoruba people, they never knew me from Ada, and they were just telling me every evil thing about all the Yoruba people. But when I got in, I noticed that the Yoruba guys, they had all the expertise, right? They had all the expertise from start to finish. Everything that sustains that business, that drives that business, they own it. But then they've segmented themselves already. They're not ready to learn, right? They just want to compete. And I got in there, I saw males flying, they are fighting for positions, fighting for power, fighting for everything. And I was like, what's going on here? And then I went into the other camp. I was just trying to get what was happening. Those people, they are fighting they are fighting within themselves. I was like, what's going on here? Right? So for me, I just looked at it, looked at everybody there. I just saw one guy that was, in fact, our spirit just matched. The guy just called me, and he was actually the boss. Just one tiny guy sitting down somewhere, and he's a Yoruba guy, and I just met him, and we just clicked. As soon as we clicked, that was it. Right? Everything I needed to know. He told the first thing he told me, Steve, do you want to learn, or do you want to start playing politics here? I said, what's my business with politics? I even hate politics. So how do we move forward? The next week I was out of Agbo with him. Within about a year, I had my own team, right? That I was managing. And from that team, that was what led to that decision of even migrating, because then you have this people management, you have to put in there are lots of paperwork and others, which I wasn't actually prepared for, right? And that was actually what led to my migration. So you see, anywhere you find yourself, place yourself in a position. In fact, don't start anywhere you find yourself, don't start doing I've also observed that even within churches, there are cliques, there are politics, people are playing politics, people are doing this. I told myself, because of what I have seen, I told myself, anywhere I go to, if I hear about any politics anywhere, it is that day that I am leaving. In fact, I also told myself that I don't want to even I don't want to hold any position in any church. I just want to go there, serve God. If there is a place to volunteer, I will volunteer. Anything they want me to do, I will do it there. But you see, position, I don't want to even be involved. I don't want to be involved in it. That's not my thing. You understand? Because you need to have a purpose. What am I going in here for? Do you want to meet God? Yes. Okay. Do you want to spread the gospel? Join the evangelism team. If you want to be like, for me, I'm in the technical department. In fact, everything that has to transmit between the church building and the government, I do that. Right? I do that. Then I'm also in the audiovisual. I also handle I stand every Sunday in church. I'm also in the audiovisual. Right? I handle all most of the technical stuff that I have to go on there in the audiovisual. Right? So it depends on you. What are you looking for? Are you looking for position? Are you looking what you're looking for? What you want? Go in there. If you have a purpose, you have a plan, work towards it. Forget about if there are going to be what's it called, racial profiling or whatever it's being called. Forget about that. Even in Nigeria, it's happening there. You are not Europe. In fact, even within Agbo, you are not Agbo, you are not Ika, you are not this, you are not. It's there. It's the same thing that you will find anywhere, right? But if you know what you're doing, it's not like in Nigeria. I think Promise mentioned where you have to look for somebody to know somebody to help you. If you have the skill, you know your onion, the opportunity is there for you. All I would just advise you is to just keep building on whatever you are doing. Be the best of what you are. Anywhere you go to, your value will speak for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That is wonderful. Very, very wonderful. So before I hand over to the last person, Mr. Ray, we are moving into the final segment. But before Mr. Ray, we buttress on one or two things concerning these points. Mr. Stephen has signaled me that he has an engagement. So I want to especially thank Mr. Stephen Elike for being available in this particular session. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It was an honor and a pleasure having you here. And we look forward to doing this one more time next time. Thank you very much, sir, as you leave us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, so Papa Ray, on this particular point, before we go to the last segment, the very, very last segment, because we are running out of time. So I'm very, very happy to hear about this from those of us who have treaded that part. So I would also like you to add your voice to this particular point. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Saying adding my voice, I think it's more like a summary because they've actually said everything. If you don't know God, not if you don't know God, if you're not serious with God back home in Nigeria, when you come down here, definitely you will not, because most of the prayer points you pray, Nigeria government have answered all of them here. So you don't have any reason to even pray. So it's better you have a strong spiritual foundation before you come over here. So for me, a member of one of the Baptist churches here. So that's the first church I attended, and that's the first church I'm still going. I'm one of their youth leaders. So we are participating. My wife is already in the choir. My daughter is already in the choir. So we are participating fully. So that's that. Then on racism, like Stephen said, is everywhere. Just know and identify yourself and be true to yourself. For me, I always tell everybody in my office, sometimes when those who are racist, when they act, some of my colleagues will start crying. I say, me, cry because you say I'm black. I'm black. You are white. So it's not there's nothing. I have a very thick skin. I told one of my colleagues, I said, you don't know where I'm coming from. If I tell you where I'm coming from, there is nothing you can do to make me see myself less. So that's how I see it. So when it comes to racism, it's all about your interpretation of yourself, not necessarily what the next person is saying. So that's how I see it. So it's everywhere. But I think in my workplace, they fight it. Like if you are a racist as a patient, they can give you yellow card on assessing the hospital facilities. So they post it everywhere. They don't tolerate abuse where I work. So I think it's generally almost everywhere here. So that's basically it. And when it comes to community, I will say this. They've said everything about, but I'll say this. Even when you are mingling with communities, Nigerian communities here, also be very careful because one of the ladies that guided me through here gave me an experience, and the information she gave me actually helped me a lot because there are even some Nigerians here, to be honest with you, who are out to make sure you are frustrated. To be sincere, I've seen few of them. So they'll be entering into your life, asking you questions, but all they are just trying to do is just to make sure that they see one or two things to put you in trouble. So the immediately I landed, they really told me, said, Raymond, mingle with every black person, but have limits. Have limit of information you share, have limit of people you accept and all that. And it helped me a lot because at the long run, it's got that some persons we know ourselves. Some Nigerians are not even happy that you are here with them. So some may go all out to put you into trouble. You might divulge very sensitive information and then you will land yourself in trouble. So that's the last thing I would like to say on the matter too.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's very, very pretty good to know that some of us who have treaded this path are still keeping up with the faith. So the most important thing is what you do when you are here. It stays with you as long as you have a very, very solid foundation. So wrapping this up, this is the last segment now. I think I would like to ask I will start with Papari. So, in case it's a question I want to ask, and maybe one or two persons might actually need it there. What financial benchmark would you recommend someone hits before relocating? I know it varies, but just give us a particular view on this.
Okay, for me, I will speak based on the route I came with because I don't know when it comes to student route, I'm not very knowledgeable about all that is involved. But coming here as an international educated nurse, the only finance you need are the ones you will spend back home to prep yourself, and the one you will need here for the first 3 to 4 weeks before you are being paid. Because before we came here, we already have a job, so we're already on the payroll. So the only money I had to spend was visa preparation, flights, passport, and all the tests and all those things. I think then when Nigeria was a little bit better, everything it shouldn't be more than 2 million for me, aside the flight. So if they say the whole thing, both flight and everything, it should be around maybe 3 point something million. But the good news was that the route I came with, they refunded almost 90% of the money to me when I came here. So the only thing I just did was I spent all those ones there from my savings, from the money I'm making from my business, and then I kept some change. I think I came into this country with about 100, less than £100, because I came with almost all the food stuff that will last me for 3 months. I don't know what I'm coming here to meet, whether I will like it or not. So I prepared everything, including to salt. I came into this country with salt. So I prepared everything. So I had nothing to spend until after 4 weeks we were paid. Then life started. So that's all I can say basically coming through this route. So maybe through other routes somebody can throw more light to that. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Promise, please.
Um, Based on experience, as my wife run a consulting for people coming through school route. Ekene also mentioned that recently it's very expensive, very, very expensive. Considering the fact that um, the exchange rate is one of the challenge that most international students who want to come travel, who want to come study abroad are having, because by the time you're converting £8,000 for your tuition deposit, is already amounting to 18 million or 17 million already. That's for tuition deposit. Or if you're lucky to get a school that is cheap, like 5,000, 4,000, then you okay, let's say 8 million, 10 million. Now you're looking at flights, you're looking at accommodation. So, but if you're coming as a student, you have to save at least 20 million should be in your accounts. Except you're coming through the scholarship routes. These are for people who are the brightest. If you are very intelligent, you've come out with a good grade in school, you know how to make research, then yeah, you get a discount on your tuition deposit and all that. So that reduces the cost. But coming through school route is expensive. However, the global talent route is one of the cheapest, but you have to pay the price. The price is getting the information. If you're coming with the global talent route, even with the current exchange rate, you shouldn't be spending up to 5 million, because everything looks like it's coming from free, because the government endorses you. They want you. You come in as a bright person to come support the economy. So you're only spending money on your flight, your IHS, and all that. IHS means your health insurance. So when you come in here, you get free treatment and all that. So you don't have to go to the hospital and start, making payment and all that. Yeah. So when I came in, it was a little bit cheaper. 2022 was cheaper, but now the exchange rate is not smiling. So, or if you want to travel, like Papare says, you don't expect to think of traveling December, and you're just planning now, except you have one helper somewhere who is able to. Even if there's helper, there's still procedures anyways. But you need to start saving. Before I started, I used to save judiciously. Like every single penny I made, I was saving towards coming here. Because when I also came, I left my business running. I left my camera. I didn't go with one single equipment. I left it for my guys to be able to run the business. When I came in here, I came in with my money to start afresh. Yeah, rent, the money people pay a year in town is what we pay every month. £1,005 is close to 3 million. That's what people are not even paying up to that in a year. But we're paying that every month. So when I was coming, I ensured I had at least 3 months to 4 months rent on standby, so that in case I not see work, let me have something to feed parents and so on. So I won't go and start sleeping. There's no under the bridge anyway, so I won't go and start sleeping in police station. So I had to make sure that I also had to make sure I kept money to buy my camera again to start afresh. So before I came, I was well loaded, so I didn't come empty. So that was the good part for myself.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ikede, on this particular point.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. I'll be very straight and direct. I don't want to speak by faith, and I will speak based on experience. Canada is a very expensive country. Just like Engineer Stephen told us, before he left, a lot has changed, especially from last year. So it's not like how it used to be when I came to Canada, 2018. Then it was way cheaper, plus the exchange rate. So now it's quite expensive. There are different routes, that you can use to come to Canada. Like I mentioned before, we have the express entry route, we have the provincial nomination program, we have the study route, which is the most expensive. So this one, like it varies. It depends on the school, and it also depends on the type of program you want to, go for, whether it's a diploma program or whether it is a master's program or a PhD program. And also the field depends on the field. You understand? So it depends. So let's say you are doing a diploma program and your tuition fee is like $10,000 or $14,000. For someone who is doing masters, program, it should be way higher than that. And if you want to If you want to, that should be around maybe 14, 15 million, if I'm not mistaken, if you want to convert. That's for the program itself. Oh. We're not talking about the application fee and all of that, and even the bank statement. I think from last year, the government of Canada kind of increased the amount of money you ought to have in your account before you can even apply. That's the bank statement, the statement of account from last year. They did adjusted a lot of things. In fact, a lot of things changed, since last year. That's why when you have an opportunity, it's good you quickly grab it. Don't wait for tomorrow. If you know you have an opportunity to do something now, do you know that as at early last year, let's say you are coming to Canada to study, all right? You can apply as a single, no, not as a single person, as a married person, but you are not applying for your family. You are only making your own application. So when you come to Canada as one who is a student or as one studying, you can invite your spouse to come to Canada and then they will give them a work permit, a temporary work permit, so that you'll be going to school and your wife will be working all your, like it goes, both ways. But now it has changed. So if you are coming to Canada on a study permit, you are not allowed to bring a family member. You get. So I know a friend of mine, in the place where I used to live before I relocated. So the guy quickly rushed back to Nigeria to get married so that he would bring his wife, so that when he's attending school, like going to school, his wife can be working. But as soon as he came back, a lot, changed. The policy changed. So now he's stuck. His wife cannot come to Canada. His wife is in Nigeria while he's here studying. So when you get an opportunity, immediately don't wait, just grab it. So back to the study route is very expensive because, like I did say before, you will pay for your tuition fee, you will pay a lot of money, and then when you come back, trust me, you will not be able to pay once, except maybe your parents are politicians, or you have, all the money in the world, like you are fully equipped, before you come to Canada. So that's why, just like Promise said, it's good you prepare. Because I know someone in my church back then in Nigeria who sold all his properties to relocate. Upon arrival, they had to deport him back because one or two things was not correct. Then he had already sold everything. And this guy had to start all over from scratch. He sold his store, he sold everything in his store. So imagine from being a shop owner to becoming someone that did not have anything. You get. So if you don't have the money or maybe you are relying on your parents, make sure you have enough. Because like the bank statement now, let me just, I know it's kind of vague, but let me say nothing less than 15 million. And depending on the program you want to go for, 15 million, 20 million, 30, 40, 50. So the higher the amount, the better for you. So even if your application is complete and you have just 5 million in your account, they will send your application back to your great grandfather in the village. Nobody will even attend to you. So the reason why they pay attention to your bank statement is because they don't want you to come to their country to be depending on them. You understand? To go maybe under welfare or whatever. They don't want you to leave your country to come here and become a burden to them. So that's why they focus on your statement of accounts. They want to make sure that you have enough back home to take care of you, just in case you don't find a job or just in case anything happens. So they don't want you to come into their country as a liability. So that's why take note of that bank statement is very important. So no matter how complete your application is, if you leave ordinary 5 million, 6 or 7 million, and you are coming to Canada, they might not really answer you. And also depends on the type of program you are coming for. So that of the study route is kind of complex. So that means you've got to be ready, before going through that route. So like I did say before, we have the express entry route, we have the provincial nomination, we have the study route, which is the most complex one. We have the federal self-employed program. We have the provincial entrepreneurial program and the federal startup program. So there is something for just anybody. You understand? So all of these routes are fully available.
Right.
Somebody saying something?
Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, so in a nutshell, coming to Canada is very expensive. So you've got to prep yourself, you've got to have the finance available and make sure your documents are complete, before deciding to come to Canada. I'm speaking for Canada, not all countries in general. All right, thank
All
you.
right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is an eye opener, a very big one. And then, as we wrap up, I will ask this question, though touched, I think we've touched it a little bit, but I'll still ask, are there skills, like, are there skills beyond, important skills beyond academic qualifications that are most valuable abroad? Are there specific skills that are most valuable abroad, Mr. Promise?
Uh, it's not in any particular order, anyways. The thing is, um, having a skill before coming can put you on a better edge compared to
Yeah,
coming without having a single skill, right?
yeah,
It's not like, oh, somebody who cooks food is better than somebody who takes picture, or somebody who's in furniture is better than somebody who sews clothes, right? But if you have these skills, it's important you get it on a high standard level that can be able to generate you an income. It's not that you know how to cook rice and stew in your house and you want to come and start cooking business here. You have to get it to a professional level. When I before I came here, I knew I was going to take pictures. Do you understand? Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to
yeah.
become like I want to. I'm a photographer. Is something I'm going to do here. I ensure that each time I improve myself, I link up with people who have been into the system to be able to give me an edge. If you come in here without these skills, I'm not saying you can't survive. You will definitely survive with your 9 to 5 if you're very prudent with, finances and all that. But if you're somebody who wants to live the best life, you want at least a plus to whatever you are going to be earning, your 9 to 5 that the government is going to tax from you 100%. You need to have a skill, right? A professional skill. If you're a photographer, you take pictures. In fact, before coming, try and learn one because it will help you. Like Papa Ray, he does furnitures and all that. It will help him. Anything you feel like is going to put you in a better position to live a 9 to 5 as quick as possible. Learn it, do it. Because abroad, people make the most money and people run business. The you can be a 9 to 5 earning £3,000, £2,000, £4,000. The government will take their own percent first. The money the government will take. If you're a business owner, you can be earning up to £200,000. You're not even paying up to £1,000 for your tax and all that because you're a business owner. They know how to do it. But as a government worker, then hold you. You understand? So they take their own before they pay you. They don't even negotiate. It's not negotiable. Do you understand? So imagine working for the government and you think that can change your life drastically, or that can help you fulfill the promise you are promising your mom. Oh, I'm going to come and build you people do pleasure. 10 years, you're not going to see land buy. I'm telling you for a fact. Do you understand? Because there's expenses to make, you have bills to pay. Like Steven said, is direct debit. Is not negotiable. Some they will even if you don't have money, it will go on minus on your account at some point. So you are now holding the bank. So if any money enter your account, they take it out first. So it's not landlord make a I go come and pay later. No, no, no. Immediately the money is entering, is going. So you need that skill to keep you going. So that once you are back from your 9 to 5, you have something that's going to give you extra 200 quid, 500 quid, 1,000 quid. And that can be your savings. You can be saving that while you are using your 9 to 5 to manage your life and going, and you get what I'm saying. So there's no specific, but if you want to come currently, look at, see, AI is taking over, right? Get yourself abreast with it. Go and learn. I'm not saying go and do tech, but learn these soft skills as well. Cybersecurity skills. Like there are these boot camps that are going on. So that by the time you land here, rather than you start for the barest minimum, you already have a soft skill that can put you into the market. And those of you who have business skills like Andy Man, once you come here, look for the right people to reach out to that will connect you to your market, and that can help you survive.
Thank you very much. A very, very wonderful one out there. Mr. Ray, do you have anything to say on this?
Anyway, nothing else. It's just like he said, learn something. There is no best one, but just make sure you learn the one you can conveniently and comfortably master and enjoy doing. Like he said, business people are the richest guys here. Those of us who are still earning salary, anyway, well, we have escape route, and definitely we have a structure working towards it. I didn't come here primarily to be a nurse. It was just a route to go to where I'm going to. So that is just it. So learn any skills and it will be helpful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Mr. Ikele?
Okay, it's just to add my sense, just a contribution. I think they've all said everything. Like Mr. Promise said, when you learn a skill, you have control of your time. You are the boss of yourself, and you don't need to depend on the government for job. You employ yourself, and if it's something you are completely sold out to, you can even become an employer of labor. So that's the advantage of learning a skill, so that you don't depend on anybody. And I know someone who stays in Canada for 6 months. He does that every year. 6 months in Canada, 6 months in Nigeria. You can't do that when you are doing a 9 to 5. That's not possible. No company will allow you to do that. But I'm not saying 9 to 5 is bad, not at all. That's what I do. But trust me, I'm a full-time businessman. In fact, I started business when I was in Nigeria. But the business thing is, I think it's more, for me, I think it's more easy and more lucrative for me, when I do it in Nigeria. So I have one or two things, that I do back home that I'm not fully committed to here yet, but I still have my 9 to 5. So when you have a skill, it puts you, like it gives you more advantages, so that you don't need to wait for anybody. And when we are talking about these skills, just like Mr. Ray said, it does not need to be one very big thing, something you are comfortable with. It can be just this hair plate. People do that here to earn a living. I also know someone in my former apartment. She has never, been employed by anybody. She converted her living room to her store where she sews clothes. And I've gone there, Nigerian, tailor, or should I say fashion designer. So when you enter a house, you see hanger, you see this, you see that. Some, they turn their own house to maybe something else. If you have money, if you want to go rent maybe another place, it's up to you, depending on how committed and rooted you are. You get, some people don't come to Canada or maybe come abroad to work, just like Mr. Promise. He has never woken up one morning to say he wants to catch the bus or go to one 9 to 5 job. Not at all. From the comfort of his home, they can just chat him up. Pro, how far, where you day? Work day, boom. And he will just head straight to the place. So that's the comfort you get when you work for yourself, when you are the boss of your own self. So let me go back to the skills aspect. It does not need to be something rigorous. If your head nothing carry those big software and the rest, don't kill yourself. If it's food you know how to cook, a church member of mine, she cooks and she delivers food. If it's hair you know how to weave, learn it well, make your hands tight. If it's shoes you know how to make, those are skills. And these things can even bring you to Canada. And if you come to Canada through any route, when you get here, you can even delve into those things. Once you are able to do one or two and people see you, that's how your name begins to, and then people begin to patronize you. So do what you have to do, learn what, it does not need to be something rigorous. Any type of skill is sellable abroad. Trust me. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. So as we wrap up, if you have any questions, you can drop on the comment section. Though I believe we've dealt with a lot of questions. So if you still have any, you can drop it on the comment section in the few minutes. I'm trying to make sure that in the next 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, we are out of here. So finally, the final words. What do you say to someone watching right now who's on the fence, who's sitting on the fence about migration? So what do you have to say to that person based on decision? So I will start with Papare as we wrap up this section.
Okay, I'll just take 1 minute to say this. Before 2021, I was an ambassador of remain in Nigeria and fix our country. But after 2021, I became an ambassador of, if you have opportunity, leave Nigeria, make your life better, and come back and fix your people. Because it's now obvious that to make it in Nigeria, you have to go out of Nigeria so that you can make it in Nigeria. So the best advice from me is make up your mind, decide where you want to go to, take deliberate action steps. The four of us that were here, you saw that. Thank God that it was not only one person that was here, so that was talking, so that it don't look as if we have limited knowledge. Everybody said the same thing. Don't be lazy about relocating. Don't. If it's something you want to do, do it. And if you ask me, I will say, please relocate. You will benefit it. Your family will benefit it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, engineer, Mr. Ikende. Yeah, your final words.
Yeah.
You have
yes.
one right now.
Yes, I wouldn't. Thank you very much. I wouldn't want to sugarcoat anything. Let me just continue from where he stopped. If you have the opportunity to japa, to relocate, please do. All right. And just like he said, if you want to fix Nigeria, see, before your cup will run over, the cup has to be full first. So if you are not full, how do you fix a country that is dying? You get, you want to become a channel of blessing, but you are not blessed. So you've got to be blessed first. Now, let me be blunt. Let me be real with us. I mean, before I came to Canada, I was working and I was earning. But when I came to Canada, my whole 1 month salary was my 1 hour here. 1 hour. And by the special grace of God, I hope I'm not blowing any trumpets. Some of the things I've been able to achieve, if I was in Nigeria, I am not sure at all. Not possible. I'm just being real. You can take the advice, I mean, the truth of the matter is abroad is not for everybody. All right? That something works for Mr. A does not mean it will work for Mr. B. But if I want to speak to you from a layman's perspective, as someone who abroad has worked for, all right, I would advise you, if you have the opportunity, the money is there, you have someone that wants to sponsor you, or your parents are pushing you, or you have the money yourself, please do the needful. Japa, because there are a lot of benefits. And just like Mr. Ray said, some of the things we pray for in Nigeria, when NEPA light comes, we shout, up NEPA. There's nothing like up NEPA here. Nothing like that. Let me even make you laugh a little. When I was coming to Canada, I mean, I prepared, I bought everything like Mr. Ray. Part of the things I bought was torchlights. Can you imagine? I bought torchlights, sir. So when my friend was now, we were just checking my bag, and then he saw torchlight. He was like, Ikene, where you carry torchlight? Go. I said, in case it's dark. He said, no. And it was like, they know they take light for Canada. I said, wow, serious? And then I dropped it. It's funny, right? But that's just it. Some of the things we pray for in Nigeria, that's why if you are lukewarm, if you are not a rooted Christian, if you come here, you will forget about God once. You will not even remember that you were once a Christian. You understand? Because the job you are praying for, you don't even need one big certificate to get any type of job. And see, you don't need to be educated in Nigeria to make it in Canada. Sorry to say, even though you don't have anything upstairs, as long as you find yourself in Canada and you get any type of job, there's a colleague of mine, he does not even know how to write his name. People help him write his name when he comes to work. They sign in for him. But this guy has been able to accumulate a lot. He has built a lot of houses in Nigeria. Bigger than you that is in Nigeria that knows that have PhD. You understand? You have 3 PhD, but nothing to show for it. But this guy cannot even write his name. He has houses in Nigeria. So if those things are not achievements to you, I wonder what is achievement. So if you have the opportunity, please, Japa, in the fewest possible words, if you have the opportunity, travel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Mr. Promise, last
well, they've all said it all. Abroad is not rosy. There's no streets where they pluck money, right? But it is still the best place to live. Number one, to raise your children, give them a better life. When we talk about raising children, it's not like the cultural way we're talking about. We're talking about giving them that opportunity to, when they grow, they are not bothered about, is my Nigerian passport going to allow me to go to Kenya or go to Ghana or South Africa? They get to that level where they don't even feel the pain that you've been through while you were in Nigeria. Number two, coming here is the best option because you see, Nigeria, each time I watch Arise News a lot, each time I'm listening to the news, I keep bothering. Are you sure I'll go to Nigeria anytime soon again? Are you like there are too many concerns that even your own family members, you are bothered about them, your loved ones, you're worried. Hope my people are fine. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope today, they did this one, So the concerns are too much. There is no pothole. When I was in Nigeria, my wife reminded me some days back. He said, when you were in Nigeria, you used to go and do alignment in your car, alignment. I've never done alignment once since I came here. I've driven for 4 years now, no alignment, So sorry, 3 years and some months. I've not done alignment. So there are things that you bother about that you don't have to bother here. Like I was discussing with my workers in Nigeria. I tell them, I say the money I charge 1 hour for a photo shoot is what you people work for a whole month. So you understand what I'm saying? So the level of change your life will experience will be very reflective. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's if you have the opportunity, Don't come with the wrong route, oh, you will suffer. Don't come and let somebody tell you to come and visit. Don't worry. When you visit there, you seek asylum. You will suffer. In fact, Job will be better than you. So coming with the wrong route cannot change your life abroad. You will not even see Nigeria in 30 years' time. So first, make sure you're making the right decision to come with the right route first. Before we now say to come and Dakpa, you have the opportunity. Come with, don't say I have 3 million. Don't worry, I'll give you visitor visa. When you get there, somebody will give you one work, and from there they will change it for you. It's a lie. It's not practical. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. What a wonderful session. I think this is one of the best conversations we have actually had, and it's going to stay with us. I believe most of us have had a shift in our mindset, our reasoning, how we see migration, how we view it, and the mindset we carry about it. And I must appreciate honorable speakers who made that time to be here. Just like they said, time now money for that side. So for them to bring out this time is very, very commendable. So God bless you, sirs, Mr. Promise, Mr. Kele, Papa Ray, Mr. Steven Asensha. Thank you very much for the impact you have made this evening. And then by God's grace, God keeping us alive, maybe some other time we'll still have such opportunities to discuss better. So by God's grace, we're also going to be having sessions like this in the coming weeks again with another interesting topic. And if you are just joining this channel for the first time, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more notifications on this. Thank you very much once more. Thank you, viewers. I believe we learned a lot. Thank you, our speakers, and we call it a day here. God bless you all. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.